So actually some network issues are there. So this
Hello.
सर ऑफलाइन हो गए हैं।
hello. Hello. Hello.
सुधांशु सर यू में स्टार्ट, आप स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं सर।
Yes, sir. Actually, your voice is not audible to me. Sir, just a minute because of some net.
ओके सर।
Sir, Sudhanshu sir is not showing by his name. This is a Biren Barik, sir. Sudhanshu sir is.
So now my voice is audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So sorry for the interruption because some network issues are there. So that's why the voice and it is not
Not at all.
clear. Okay. Okay, sir. So can I start my presentation now?
Yes, sir.
So please disabled participant screening sharing because when I want to share my screen, it is writing host disabled participant screening sharing.
Sir, you are now a co-host, so you can share
Okay.
your.
Okay, okay, okay. So it my now my slide is visible to you.
Yeah.
Okay. So So good morning to all. Sorry for the delayed presentation because of due to some network issues. So today I'll be start with my new presentation, that is which is a new area of my research work as well as the new area of recent trend of the manufacturing. So my today's topic that to present is new generation cooling lubrication techniques in hard machining. So before I go to details about the new generation cooling and techniques, first you have to discuss about what do you mean by hard machining and what is the nowadays what is its importance in the different manufacturing industries. So first you have to know that what is hard machining. So before you discuss about the hard machining, I is talking about the material which is belongs to hard machining. So generally the hardened steel are when the hardened steel are proposed to machining by or manufacturing by machining methods that are called the hard machining. And the hardened steel are basically used various sectors, particularly if I'm saying these hardened steel are extensively used in the automotive or aircraft and machine tool components. So because of they have a some specific characteristics, or you can say that there is a critical characteristics. The critical characteristics can be defined in terms of high indentation resistance, high abrasiveness, low ductility, and high value of hardness to modulus of elastic ratio. So due to these critical properties or specific characteristics, this hardened steel making very difficult to cut or hard to cut material. Hence, the machining of or you can say that the machinability is a very important aspect for the for easier machining of hardened steel. So that's why before to machining or to get the from raw material to the end product by if the material is hardened steel. So in these cases, in the traditional approach, they have used number of manufacturing methods, which is very long technological chain, or you can say it is very time consuming and cost very expensive of manufacturing the finished product by using the hardened by using the parts which are made of hardened steel. So that we are talking in this slide here, that is it is only say that the different methods to get machining of hardened steel in a traditional approach and in a hard machining approach, that is called the newer approach. So in this case, recent in the traditional approach, the machining of hardened steel is associated with a 6 number of processes. That is what? That is forming, annealing, grinding, rough turning, heat treatment, and grinding. So what are I am going to one by one the discussion about the one by one. So in these cases, what is the forming? Forming is the process in that to making the material to that is to making a raw material in a particular form. Suppose I am saying here I want to make a shaft from the shaft which is made of a hardened steel. So I have to make a shaft dimension, not shaft raw material for a, that is a cylindrical bar. And basically the cylindrical bar is made by forming, either we can forging, extrusion, or rolling processes. So that is after getting the raw material, then we are going to that annealing process. That is the one type of heat treatment processes. And particularly this material is extensively used, or this process is used to become the material to become soft. So in these cases, when you go to the annealing processes, because the material is hard, the material is very hard obtained by the forming processes. So you go to the annealing processes to make the material to softer. So after the material is getting the softer through by annealing processes, then you go to the rough turning, which is only used to get the shape of the material what the material want. That is, here I am giving an example to that I want to manufacture a shaft. So in these cases, we are going to rough turning to just only to removing the oxide layer or unwanted material from the workpiece surfaces to get a shape of a shaft. So it is only it is the rough turning here. It is only to get the how to get the actual object of the body, not the dimensional. So next we are going to the another heat treatment process after the that is called the hardening. So here the objective is that because the shaft is very, it is required, it is generally perform a high critical performance for the mechanical industries or manufacturing industries. So the strength of the hardened steel should be high, or the strength of the shaft material should be high. So to make the more strength, again we are going to the heat treatment process, that is called the hardening, to make the shaft material up to a desired hardness level. So for that thing, we are getting the what? Again we are going to the heat treatment processes to make the finished product or to make the product up to the design level of the hardness. So after we get the heat treatment processes and desired level of the hardness as achieved, then you go to the end machining process that is called the cylindrical grinding, which is only to focusing about the finishing of the machine surfaces. That means here, that is the rough turning, it is only focusing about the desired dimension, and the desired dimension means we can say that what the looking or what is the shape of the body we want. Then in the grinding, we are focusing about the surface finishing. So in this case, here you have the objective to say to get from the raw material to the finished product. The process in the traditional chain, it is very long, as well as the very higher number of manufacturing setups and also a manufacturing methods. So that's why it is very cost that is, you can say that we can very costlier in the manufacturing of hardened steel. So to prevent that thing, nowadays or in the recent past, you can say hard turning has become an emerging technology for machining of hardened steel, which is not only reducing the manufacturing methods as well as also using a word. The cost of the manufacturing is very less. So that's why to the hard turning, it is what and it is also reduces a very number of manufacturing methods. Like here it is associated with 3 number of processes, that is forming, hardening, and the single step hard turning. So what is that? That is the forming, which is similar to the traditional approach. That is, it is focusing to make the material, raw material. After the raw material it is produced through by particular forming processes, then it will directly go to the hardening, that is the heat treatment processes, to get the desired level of the hardness of the workpiece material. Then after the material gets the desired hardness, then directly go to the hard turning processes. Not only it is getting the desired surface finish, also it is get the desired level of the dimensional accuracy. So here objective to say that hard turning processes has a greater advantages to the traditional approach because of number of setups, number of manufacturing methods, number of machine tools is less, number of cost that is cost of machining is manufacturing is less, and also it is very sustainable, which is later I'll be discuss about that thing. So in this case, we can say there is a 2 different approach of the machining of hardened steel in a traditional approach and the newer approach. So this is the distinguish that slide here it will be say there are how to distinguish the traditional approach and the newer approach. So here the traditional approach, same thing earlier I have discussed you, that the traditional approach has associated with a number of manufacturing methods, where in the newer approach it is associated with only 3 manufacturing methods. So that's why hard turning has emerging with a lesser cost of manufacturing methods with a number of machine tool setups. So that's why it is very popular for the machining of hardened steel material. So now we go to the hard machining, that is hard turning. Here you see why I am saying the hard turning. Hard machining, we can say if I am machining the hardened steel by different machining methods like drilling, grinding, or milling or turning. So in that case, you respectively called as a hard milling, hard grinding, hard turning, and hard drilling. So that's why, according to the nature of machining, we can say that hard. That is, you can use a adjective of hard. That is called the hard of particular machining, turning, grinding, milling, and many more things. So basically, what is the hard machining or hard turning? Suppose I am saying here I am giving an example to the hard turning. So hard turning is the process in which the material, when the hardness of the workpiece material is more than 40 to 45 HRC, that material is called the hardened steel. And when the machining is done through by a single point cutting tool or ultra hard single point cutting tool, that machining process is called as the hard turning. So that's a hard turning is effective finish turning of hardened steel material which hardness is greater than 45 HRC with a single point cutting tool. That is, it is a single point means it is not a tool which is used frequently used as a lathe machine, that is high speed steel. It is not a high speed steel. It is a ultra hard cutting tool material which is made of a CBN, ceramic, and carbide. So that's why hardened steel has hard machining is very used in the different types of machining processes or different methods by using a ultra hard cutting tool material, which will be discussed later. So to now we concluded that the hard machining is because of it is gets a very lots of advantages in comparison to the traditional machining methods. So we discuss in this slide what are the advantages or what are the advantages over the traditional, that is the cylindrical grinding. So here one by one I just discuss shorter setup time. So one by point, that is will be, the one first point is the shorter setup time. So what is the shorter setup time? In the traditional method for the machining of hardened steel is associated with a 6 number of manufacturing methods. So that's why it is called as a long technological chain of the manufacturing setups. But in the hard turning processes, we see that it is associated with 3 number of setups, manufacturing methods. That's why the number of, that is, it is called the forming, hardening, and the hard turning process. So that's why it is associated with only a 3. So that's why the number of setups is here very less. Next, we go to the high MRN and productivity. So in this case, if you consider the traditional approach, the end product, the methods we can, in which we can get the end product, that is called the cylindrical grinding or the grinding. So you know that in the machining, the grinding is a very lower productivity. You can say that less number of less volume of the chip is produces. Almost it is called as a chipless machining. So that's why if we are saying about the surface finish, the surface finish is too good in the surface in the grinding, whereas the productivity or the material removal rate is very less because it is a chipless machining. But now, if I am talking about the surface finish as well as to improve the productivity, hard turning is use a single point cutting tool. That tool is made of a ultra hard cutting tool material. So when that tool is used for the machining purposes, it is not only get the surface finish which is comparable to the cylindrical grinding, also get the material removal rate, which is removing unwanted material from the chip, from the workpieces with a huger value. So that's a the productivity or the material removal rate in this case of the hard machining is very high in comparison to the chipless machining like grinding. Next, high flexibility. So high flexibility is which is most important thing. So suppose in this case in the traditional machining processes, you have seen that after rough turning or after getting the material softer, then we go to the rough turning to get the desired size or desired dimension of the workpiece material, or the what the desired shape is required for the customer. So after the desired shape is required, then you go to the another heat treatment processes of the hardening. So if you make once the hardness or the hardness heat treatment is done for the hardening processes, and further changes of the dimensions is required, so that's why it is very difficult to get that dimension through by traditional machining. So in this, because already the material is getting hardness, so that's why. So flexibility comes when if that is a certain changes are required instantaneously. So the traditional approach fails to changes of the dimension or changes of the manufacturing shape. So in these cases, the hard turning is very efficient to that. If there is a say any time of changes are there, it can frequently or instantaneously can be checked without any violating the demands of the customer or demands of the manufacturing demands. Without the demands of the others requirement. So here it will be objective to say, suppose I am using a number of dimension in a cylindrical shaft, and I want to provide two different approach, traditional approach and the hard turning processes. So here, according to the dimension in the traditional approach, a number of machine tools, that is number of grinding wheels is required. But in this case of your hard machining or hard turning, only one tool which is called any integrate shape or any complex shape which is required for the machine, which is required for the customer or which is required for the product. So in this cases, the high flexibility is possible through by, or high flexibility of the changes will be possible through by hard machining, which is fails in this case of a traditional, because of why longer setup time, longer machining tools, machining setups is also required. That is, if I am change any particular shape, then additional grinding wheel or additional machine tool is required. Next is called the reduced energy consumption. So here, obviously, here in the that already have told you hard machining only it is associated the 3, but in the traditional it is associated with 6 number. So more number of manufacturing setup required more number of power consumption or energy consumption for the manufacturing of the product. So that's a you can say hard machining or hard turning is very efficient to conserve the energy during the machining because of the setup time or setup manufacturing methods. Next we will go to the ability to machine the complex part. So what is the ability to complex the machine parts? That just before that I have told you. Suppose I want to make a different shape or different dimension on a cylindrical bar. So in this case, I have to arrange a multiple number of grinding wheels according to the dimension what the shaft required in the traditional approach. But in this case of the hard machining, only one cutting tool, that is single point cutting tool, can make any shape on the surface of the workpiece metal what the product required. So in these cases, the complex part can be easier machined through by hard machining because of the way a single cutting tool is used, but the complexity of the part is fails when, because in the traditional approach, because the multiple set of cutting tools as required according to the dimension requirements. So that's why this one is another advantages of the hard machining or hard turning. Next we go to the elimination of the cutting fluids. So in this case of the machining, see, because of the machining is the hardened steel has very hardness, and because of they have a critical characteristics, so that's why it is very difficult to control the temperature and heat generation, because the tool is subject to a harassing environment because of the hardness of the workpiece is very high. So that's why the temperature, because of the rise of the temperature affect your surface finish and mostly affect your tool life. So that's why nowadays mostly they are using a cutting fluid to control the temperature, but the cutting fluid, use of the cutting fluid has a negative impact to the environment as well as the what the cost of manufacturing. So that's why if I'm saying about in this case of the hard machining has capable to machine the hardened steel material with almost no cutting fluid, with the use of almost no cutting fluid. But in the grinding for machining of the hardened steel, they are extensively used for the cutting fluid. This is very very, you can say, unsustainable, or you can say that it is very hazardous to the environment. So that's a one another most important aspect, that hard machining is possible to more sustainable than the traditional approach because of it is environmentally or eco-friendly or eco-friendly machining methods as compared to the traditional approach. Similarly, next to go to the another advantage is that reduction in part handling and machining setup, that I already have told in the flexibility and ability to complex the machine part. Suppose any shape you want to change or any shape integrated shape you want to make, the traditional methods or traditional machining methods fails because the number of machine tools or cutting tools is required. But in this case of the hard turning, it is required only one cutting tool. So that's why part handling associated to the different machine tools is very less in the hard turning in comparison to the traditional approach. Next, decrease in machining and production cost. That thing you know that, so I need not to discuss about that thing because the cost of manufacturing is very less because of the number of setups is very less in the hard turning processes. So if I'm overall to discuss about this thing, so hard turning nowadays is very gaining demand for the manufacturing of hardened steel because of due to these specific advantages over the traditional approach. So now we will go to that. Now up to that slide we have discussed that what is the hardened steel and how the hardened steel are manufactured. Sorry, how the hardened steel is machined through a traditional approach and the newer approach, and what is the usability of this, what is the importance or what are the advantages over the traditional approach. So that's why you are considering hardened steel is the most preferable for the machining of the hardened. Hard turning is most preferable for the machining of hardened steel. So now we'll be study about that because the material is very critical characteristics, is associated with a very critical characteristics, and particularly the hardness is very high. So that's why the machinability of hardened steel most important. That is machinability, you can say a simpler word, that is easier of machining. So it is very difficult to say the machinability of hardened steel is very easier. So that's why you have to study that what is the, before you go to the hard turning processes, you have to analyze that whether it is machinable or not through by hard turning processes. So you can just throw by different parameters. That is, you can say in the nowadays it is very difficult to define the machinability because you because of why? Because machinability is just provide different output responses, or you can say that machining performances. So in this cases, the machinability you can say that is associated with a number of machining performances, that is output responses. That is, I have listed here that is the cutting temperature, machining cost, chip morphology, material removal rate, cutting force, surface roughness, tool wear, power consumption. Suppose I am giving an example to, suppose I want to judge the machinability through by surface finish or surface roughness. So you can say the machinability is good in terms of surface roughness when the surface roughness is very less, that is surface finish is very high. So you can say that the machinability is good in terms of surface finish is good. Surface finish is very improved. Are you hear me? Or... Hello?
Yes, sir.
Is it what? Okay, okay. So similarly, another way you can say to judge the machinability, that is tool wear. So that is, if I am saying machinability is good when tool wear is less, because of why? Because tool wear is affected your surface finish and tool life and other power consumption, other parameters are there. So that's why here the objective to say as the machinability is judged through by very more number, there is huge number of parameters, it is very difficult to consider all parameters at it is very difficult to consider all parameters to assess one time to judge the machinability. So that's why nowadays the manufacturer or the customer, or that is you can say that the buyer who is the buyer who is purchasing the product just throw by what, instead of focusing the all parameters of the machine, they are focusing about the what parameter. Suppose I am giving an example to you for buyer. Suppose I am buyer of a product, so I look forward for the what surface finish, that is the quality of the product and the cost of the product. So that's why we are going to the what, the cost and the quality of the product. So that's why this is the one criteria of the buyer to judge the machinability. So similarly, if I'm saying about the manufacturer point of view, so they are looking for the what, the quality should be good, the cost of manufacturing should be less, as well as all the parameters should be, that is the material removal rate should be high, and the cutting force, all these parameters should be less, so that he can get a good number of product with a good number, achieve good accuracy with a good dimensional product, as well as the what, lesser cost of machining. So that is the what, another aspect to judge the machinability by the manufacturer. So in these cases, so here it is to say the machinability can be judged, machinability of the hardened steel material can be judged by the different parameters, and it is very difficult to judge all these parameters by considering this one. So that's why mostly the indicator to judge the machinability of the hardened steel, or you can say that is called the surface finish, that is, it is associated with the quality of the product. So that's why the surface finish. Next one is the cost. So that's why all the parameters are, all the machinability is if I'm saying about all the parameters, surface roughness and the cost is most important for both manufacturing point of view, that is the manufacturer, as well as the buyer. So here to judge the machinability, in these cases for the machining, the machinability is good machinability is always desirable. If I'm saying about the machinability, so how for the good machinability in terms of various machining, so you can say good machinability convert as surface finish is good, tool wear is less and tool life is high, cutting force should be less, power consumption should be less, that is energy consumption should be less, cutting temperature during the machining should be less, chip morphology will be good, is or desirable according to the what the machining process required. Material removal rate is should be high, that is called, that is productivity, because more number of, if more volume of the material is removed, then more number of product will be produced in a minimum time. So material removal rate should be high, and it should be economic machining. Economic machining means it is machining cost will be low. So if this thing will be satisfied, then you can say that the good machinability. So now, so we conclude, we say that the hard turning is more feasible than the traditional, because traditional approach, because of it have a very good advantages of to select the alternative choice of the traditional approach. So but before we go to that select, or before you choose the hard turning is preferable for machining of the hardened steel, another aspect which is nowadays is very important, because today's discussion is based upon that. So whether it is sustainable or not. So sustainable, it will be comes with three words in the nowadays. So that is The hard machining, if I'm saying about the sustainable, that is whether it is sustainable or not, the sustainable can be defined through by three associate words. It should be economic, it should be environmentally friendly, it should be societal. That means it should have a some societal impact. That is not a, that is should have a positive societal impact. So if I'm saying about the traditional approach and the hard turning approach, how the hard turning is sustainable with associated the three terms, giving an just one by one, just giving the just to prove it that how the hard turning is a sustainable than the traditional approach. First, you go to the economy. So in this case, already I have told you in my introduction of the slides that hard turning is associated with the three number of setups, manufacturing methods, but the traditional approach is associated with that six number of methods. So you already you just judge that, you have already judged that the because the number of setups is more in the traditional, so it is costlier, but because of it is a three number methods in the hard turning, it is lesser in the machining method, lesser cost in the machining method. So that's a hard turning is economic. This is so that's why you can say hard turning is more sustainable in terms of economic point of view. Similarly, go to the next term, environmental. That again I have told you, the traditional approach, the grinding is used huge volume of the cutting fluid to machine the hardened steel material, which is not desirable, that is undesirable, because of why they have a negative impact to the environment. But nowadays in the hard turning processes, they have almost no cutting fluid, or they are not rarely using the cutting fluid. The rarely means that is the cutting fluid is almostly zero. Almostly zero means it is just cutting fluid in terms of a milligram or likewise. So that's why if I'm saying environmental point of view, the because of the hard turning is used very less consumption of the cutting fluid. So that's why hard turning is more sustainable than the traditional approach from the environmental point of view. Next is that societal impact. So societal impact means, suppose I am giving an example to you, operator or worker, that is operator safety and operator, you can say that is a safety and healthy, that is you can say the issue are related to operator work and operator safety and the health issue. So if I'm saying in the traditional approach, because of a number of setups is more, so number of engagement of the operators is more, so that's why it is there is a issue will be complex, or issue will be rise because of the number of manufacturing methods is more. So that's why operator health and safety is very critical in the traditional approach. But in the newer approach, if I'm saying about the hard turning processes, because of no cutting fluid is there, so almostly no cutting fluid is there, so they have a no hazardous environment to for the operator, as well as the operator health and safety issue. Second thing is that because of the number of setups is very less, machining methods is or manufacturing methods is very less, so less number of engagement of the operator to the machine tool. So that's why you can say that hard turning machining methods is very positive, have a very positive societal impact in comparison to the traditional approach. So you can say in a conclusion, the hard turning is more sustainable in terms of economic, environmental and societal from in comparison to the traditional approach. So that's why we can say that hard turning is more feasible alternative choice of traditional methods, as well as the more sustainable for machining of the hardened steel material. So that's why the hard turning is nowadays is very extensively used for the machining of the hardened steel material. So to make more sustainable or more feasible or more user friendly for machining of hardened steel material, to make the hardened steel material for easier machining, we are using the hard turning processes. So for the hard turning process, we should have to look forward for the what some cares to be considered. So some cares means some factors to be taken care, so that we can get hard turning with a more successful manner for the machining of the hardened steel. That means you can say hard turning is effectively machining the any material which is subject to a higher hardness value. So in order to get that thing, so we have to consider that the following parameters, and will be discussed one by one in the next all the slides. So just I am reading the one by slides. A machine tool with high dynamic stiffness, efficient work holding devices, a correctly chosen cutting tool materials, high cutting edges, rigid tool mounts, appropriate machining parameters, component part rigidity, chip management and cooling system. So these are the most parameter which is need to be considered or need to be taken care for hard turning processes, because the material is very hard. So that's why to make the easier machining, so you have to consider all these factors or all these parameters to make the hard turning processes more successful. So will we go to the next slide? So we can say, that there is lots of factors or parameters are there in which the hard machining process is depends. So, or you can say the hard turning is basically depends upon the more number of parameters. So number of parameters means here you see operation, cutting data, insert geometry, insert material, coating material, and all these machine tool, workpiece, cutting, chucking and clamping, coolant, and many more things are there. Just one by one giving an example. So operations. So what is the operation? That is, if I am saying out the hard turning process, I am using a different operation like step turning or threading, plane turning. So these are the what the operations. So according to the operations, if I am saying the hard turning also depends upon the different operation. So that is what the operation also one other parameter which is just the hard turning performances. So next is called the cutting data. Cutting data means that is the cutting parameter, which is one of the most important parameter in the, or most important factor which is depends upon the hard turning performance. That is called the what? Speed, feed, depth of cut. Similarly, insert geometry. So now already have told you that the is made of a ultra hard or super hard cutting tool material. So that cutting tool is just like a insert. Later I'll be discuss about the insert. So here, whenever you use the cutting tool for the machining of the hardened steel, we should have, there is the cutting tool is associated with the number of cutting angles. So that's how, if I want to define the all angles, we should have to properly design the cutting tool with a optimum geometry, so that it will be easier to machining of the hardened steel material. Similarly, insert material means that is already have told you that the cutting tool which are extensively used for the hard machining purposes, the cutting tool are basically made of a carbide tool, ceramic tool, and the CBN tool. Similarly, another parameter is called the machine tool. So that is, I am giving an example to you, performing the hard machining in a lathe machine and performing the hard machining in a CNC machine. So we can say that because of the material is very accurately machined through by CNC machine, so the dimensional accuracy and the precision of machining is very very good in achievable condition in the CNC machine as compared to the lathe machine. So that's why you can say that machine tools is one other factor which is hard turning depends. Similarly, workpiece material, that already have told you, workpiece material, if your workpiece is very hard, it is very difficult to machine. So that's why if the material is very less, but it is easier to machine. So that's why you can say the machinability depends upon the hardness. So that's why if the workpiece material is more and more harder, then the hard turning also depends. So that is whether it will be feasible for the hard turning process or not. Then chucking and clamping. Chucking and clamping, just giving in all the. So you see, so the objective to say here is that the hard turning is associated, that is the hard turning is depends upon the number of parameters, and the parameters are listed here. So we'll be go to that, discuss about this thing, the one by one, what are the parameters, the tool material, cutting parameters, machine tool, cutting phenomena, cutting environment, and tool geometry. So these are the parameters. So we will not discuss because earlier I have discussed all these things. So one by one, I just have to go all the points individually to discuss about this thing. So first point is that machine tool, that is called the what? Here it is machine tool. There is a point here, there is a machine tool. So here, when you consider the successful of the hard turning process by considering machine tool as a one factor. So for the machine tool, we should have to consider these parameters for the machine tool. So what are the parameter? Machine rigidity. So what is the machine rigidity is most important for the machine tool, because you see that already have told you, if generally the machine tool is held in a particular support, or it is basically placed in a particular support. If during the machining, because the workpiece material is very hard, so high cutting force will be developed on the cutting tool, and the dynamic force will be developed during the machining. So if the machine tool is not properly mounted over the supports, so at that time they will start to vibrate. So if it will be start to vibrate, the tool wear suddenly increases, as well as the surface finish will be deteriorate. So in these cases, to look after the machine rigidity, that means where you locate your workpieces, it should be rigidly held onto the support so that the vibration and other things can be reduces, or it can be eliminated, so that the good in surface finish is produced and good dimension can be predicted. So next is called the what? Next another parameter, the part rigidity. So part rigidity, that means already suppose I am saying in the turning processes, the workpiece material is held onto the headstock and the tailstock. That is held into the headstock and supported by the tailstock. So if there is no tailstock, so in these cases, when the length of the workpiece is very high, so at that time they will start to wheeling in terms of a vibration. So when due to the wheeling, so what will happen? Because of due to the unsupported length is very high, so the wheeling start, the vibration will be more and more, and accident will be takes place in terms of to maybe there is some issue related to the operator safety and health, or accident will be takes place due to the other machine tool also. It will hamper to the machine tool performance and many more things. So objective to say that the machine part rigidity should be that is the workpiece material should be rigid properly, so that the vibration will be reduces and wheeling of the shaft will be reduces, so that you can get the good dimensional accuracy after the finishing. Next, rigid location that I have told you about the machine rigidity. So whenever you locating your workpiece tool and machine tool, it should be located properly and mounted properly, held rigidly, so that the vibration and all vibration will be minimized, so that you can get a good machining responses. Work holding rigidity, that already have told you. Work holding, that is part rigidity, is almost the same. So that is you whatever the fixture or you can say jigs are used for the holding purposes, it should be mounted or located in a proper locations, so that your workpieces will be subject to less vibration, or vibration will be almost no. So vibration damping. So vibration damping means what is that? Generally, if you mount your machine tools or any particular supporting devices in a particular location, so if there is no vibration isolation devices is not considered, so at that time during the dynamic condition or during the machining processes, the the locations are start to vibrate, or it will be dismantled, disassemble the other machine tool parts. So that's a the vibration isolation like via damper, springs, isolation pads should be provided into different fixturing or jigs devices to hold your workpiece tool and machine tool properly. Next we go to the what? Rigid tool. So what is the rigid tool? Rigid tool is that likewise the rigid part rigidity, the tool is also, that is generally the tool post is used to properly hold your tool. So if the tool is properly hold, then the tool vibration will be minimum, so that you can get a less cutting forces, less power consumption, good surface finish, and chatter formation on the machine surfaces will be reduces. So these are the parameters to be considered for the machine tool when you judge the hard turning process. Similarly, another parameter that in the cutting parameters. So this is the what? Cutting parameter. So you see cutting parameters here, you say, hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here the cutting parameter is that you know that I need not to discuss about all these things, because cutting parameter is the most important parameter for the judge, because of judge the hard turning processes, because of why it is very accessible to the operator at any moment, or you can say the instantaneously this parameter can be changed by the operator. So that's why the cutting parameter is the most important factor for the hard turning processes, and the cutting parameters are the speed, feed, depth of cut. So I need not to go that thing, because it is already known that term for the machining purposes, whether it will be turning, milling or drilling, all these things. Next we go to the what? Illustration of the tool geometry. That is, we can say that tool geometry. So in this case, so when you go to the tool geometry, so here we say that lots of factors to be considered. So in this case, the tool geometry is associated with a number. Likewise, already have told you machine tools. Machine tools is associated with a number of parameters: part rigidity, tool rigidity, machine tool rigidity, and many more factors are there. Similarly, whenever I am saying about the tool geometry or tool geometry, so tool geometry is associated with a number of parameters. That is what? Rake angle, you can say what nose radius, side cutting edge angle, approach angle, edge preparation, chip breaker geometry, that is groove on rake surfaces. So these are the different types of geometry that which the tool geometry which hardening is depends. So giving an example to you, just I'm not going to all these parameters, just giving 2 to 3 parameters which is very important. Rake angle. So generally we see generally in the cutting tool, rake angle is provided to easier movement of the chip after the chip is produced from the workpiece surfaces. Or you can say after the chip will be formed, it will be sliding on the rake surface of the tool. So that rake surfaces is facilitating the what easy removal of the chips. So in these cases, when the machining of hardened steel material, because the material is very hard, so you have to design your cutting tool with the optimum rake angle. So generally, if the rake angle is divided into two, almost two, that is positive rake angle and the negative rake angle. So incline downward of the rake surfaces is negative, and inclined upward is called the positive. So if I'm saying about the hard turning processes, the negative rake angle is very preferable because of why? Because if the negative rake angle is more, negative rake angle is provided onto the cutting tool, so the strength of the cutting tool will be improved, and the keenness of the cutting tool will be reduces, so that you can get lesser cutting force will be acting to the cutting tool, life will be improved. So that's why the negative rake angle is very used for the machining of the hardened steel for removing higher volume of the material. But whenever I'm talking about the finish hard turning, that is we are talking about the finishing of the surface finish of the machine part. So in this cases, we can, instead of consider the negative angle, you can consider the machining with cutting tool is a positive rake angle, because of why the cutting keenness of the cutting tool is very high, but the strength of the cutting tool is less. So in these cases, you can say the positive rake angle is extensively used for the what? For the machining methods for the surface finish, and negative rake angle is particularly designed for the what? The machining with a higher huge volume of the material to be removed from the workpiece surface. Next, we will go to the what? The tool nose radius. So here, generally you see there is the major cutting, major two cutting edges are there, which is acting as a cutting edge during the machining. One is called the principal cutting edge, that is called the major cutting edge. Another is called the auxiliary cutting edge, that is called the minor cutting edge. So during machining, the both major and minor cutting edge where it is intersect, that is called the cutting point or tool tip. If the tool tip is sharp pointed, so in these cases, what will happen? When the sharp pointed will interact with the workpiece surfaces, suddenly the tip will be blunt, or tip have a chances to breakage. Because of what? The high stress concentration is act on the tip, due to which the tool breaks. So in order to prevent that thing, nowadays the tool, instead of making the tool tip is sharp pointed, it will be rounded up, so that the stress concentration or the stress distribution is spread over the principal cutting edge, nearer to the principal cutting edge as well as the auxiliary cutting edge, so that the tool tip life will be improved and the cutting performance of the cutting tool is improved. So that's why you can use the tool nose radius. Similarly, another suppose I am going to that groove on the tool, that already have told you that during the machining, if the chip is very continuous, so at that time the chip creates a wear on the rake surfaces, that is called the crater wear. So in this cases, if the chip, if you make the chip into segmented chip, that means if you after the chip produce and slide on the rake surfaces, if you suddenly break the chips, then there is a no then you can avoid the continuous rubbing effect of the chip on the rake surfaces. That means the crater wear can be eliminated or can be reduces. So in these cases, to reduce the crater wear or to propose to reduce the crater wear, you can make a chip breaker. So chip breaker is particularly used to make grooves to surfaces of the surfaces which can be avoid the continuous chip to into a segmented chip. That means you can say the crater wear is reduces, because of why? The less interaction of the chip of the tool on the crater surfaces or rake surfaces. So that's how you can, to prevent that, to make that thing, you can say you are using a chip breaker geometry in terms of a groove. That is when the chip will be interact into the groove, suddenly chip call and breaks into a segmented chip, so that the interaction the chip tool contact length will be reduced, the character will be avoided or eliminated. So these are the what different tool geometry to be considered in this case of your. Next we go to the what, this is another slides of the tool parameter, that is called the tool materials. So I just focusing about this thing, just all not parameter, because it is already decide the tool geometry, all these things, and later I will be discuss about more the thing. So in this cases, tool variables, if I'm saying tool material, okay, suppose I am going to the tool material. In the hard machining processes, already have told you it use a ultra or super hard cutting tool material, which is made of three types of material. One, either it will be a carbide tool, or it is a ceramic tool, or it is a CBN tool. So here, these tools are, because of extensively used for the machining of hardened steel material, because of it also have a some characteristics. So what is the characteristics? The characteristics are, this material are highly hot hardness, low coefficient of friction, high thermal conductivity. That means you can say that it is have capability to extract the heat very quicker from the cutting zone. That is heat extraction capability is very high. Toughness, that is ability to carry the impact load during the machining. Wear resistance, ability to resist the wear during the machining. So that is called the wear resistance, or ability to resist the wear and tear from the frank surfaces of the cutting tool. So if because of these properties of ultra hard cutting tool material, so this carbide, ceramic and CBN tool are extensively used for the machining of hardened steel material as a cutting tool. So in this cases, if you see, so instead of what they are, how they are used. So instead of they are using a raw cutting tool material as a high speed steel in the traditional lathe machine, they are, instead of the using a hole with a shank as and associated with a tool shank and with a tool edge, it is associated with only a cutting inserts. So here the cutting tool, whatever the ceramic, CBN and carbide tool are used, instead of it is a cutting tool, it is called as a cutting inserts, which the cutting insert can be inserted into the or clamped over the holder, that is called the shank. So that is called the tool holder or tool shank. So there is a different geometry of the cutting inserts are there. So it is it may be a rhombic, it may be a triangular, it may be a square, it may be a round, but mostly for the hard turning processes, the rhombing and square form is very usable, because of cutting force very less on less act on the tool nose radius as well as the tool tip. So that's the control of the cutting force is very predominant in the geometry of square and rhombing. So that's they are extensively used. But for the finishing, you can say triangular shape or other shapes can be used for the. So objective to say here, because the cutting tool material is very cutting tool material has a great impact on the tool life. Because of why? Because the material, if it is subject to associate with these characteristics like hardness, coefficient of friction, thermal conductivity and toughness and wear resistance, then the life of the cutting tool will be very high, so that the performance during the machining will be very high. So nowadays, to improve the cutting tool, on the software, they are different researchers are used, or different manufacturers are used coating on the substrates. So substrates means, I am saying earlier I have told you, substrates means it will be a carbide substrate, it may be a ceramic substrate, or it may be a CBN substrate. So over the substrate, now if you add the coating, then it will be improve the life of the cutting tool, which is more than the substrate life. So that's why nowadays the cutting tool are very so coating material are extensively used over the cutting tool, improve the tool life. So the because of due to they have also additional properties, the coating have additional properties. The properties are again it is hot hardness, coefficient of friction, thermal conductivity, toughness and wear resistance. Same properties which is belongs to also in the cutting tool material. So that means if you are using the hard coating under the substrate of the carbide, ceramic and CBN, also it is adds on the tool life of the over the substrate life. So that's why cutting tool coating material is also are also used for the substrate to improve the tool life, and the coating material are just like you can say, for example, tin, titanium nitride, zirconium carbonate, aluminum oxide, and many more coatings are avoided. Suppose I am saying about the giving an one example. Suppose I will provide the aluminum oxide. Aluminum oxide have a ability to improve the thermal conductivity. They have a high heat extraction capability. So this one is the one property of the coating to provide the aluminum oxide. Suppose I am using the titanium nitride. They have a characteristics that it is act as a lubricity. That means it is reduce the coefficient of friction. That means when the chip and the workpiece is contact to the tool surfaces, because of the high lubricity of the coating of tin, it will be coefficient of friction will be reduced, so the frictional force will be less. So the life of the cutting tool will be more. So these are the reason in which we can provide the different types of coating material onto the tool to improve the tool life. So now we go to that if we are providing the coating, so how you make the coating on the substrate. So there is generally the coatings provided by the two different techniques, that is called the PVD techniques and the CVD techniques. So that is called the physical vapor deposition, and one is called the chemical vapor deposition. I am not going to that details because the time is limited. So giving an example to PVD is called the, you can say it is a thin layer coating, and CVD is called the thick layer coating, or you can say that PVD is a single layered coating, and CVD is a multi-layer coating. Suppose I want to make multiple layers of multiple coating materials like aluminum oxide, tin, zirconium carbonate, we can prefer for the CVD coating. That is multi-layer is associated. But if I am going to the single layered coating, either aluminum oxide or tin or any particular coating, we can go to the PVD. And another advantages, or you can say that another criteria to judge for the coating strength, CVD is more because the stickiness or adhesiveness of the coating material on the substrate is very predominant in the CVD, because the thicker coating is provided on the surface. So that's why CVD coating is nowadays it is very usable coating methods for the machining, usable methods for the coating material on the substrate. So that's why PVD is used for the thin film, and the CVD is that's why CVD film is the thick film coating, which is used for the machining of the hardened steel material. So just this thing already have told you, that thing I am not going to that. Now coming to that thing, that most cutting tool material, that is, you can say the hard turning processes is fully depends upon the tool performance. That means already have told you the tool which is ultra hard or super hard cutting tool material. If it is not super hard or up to this property like hot hardness, wear resistance, chemical stability, and toughness, this property is not belongs, then the life of or the performance of the tool will be fails at any moment or suddenly. That is due to the catastrophic failure. So in order to make tool performance good, so the tool performance is depends upon the tool wear or tool life. So generally, if I'm saying in the cutting tool, the tool performance depends upon the tool wear. So the major tool wear occurs in the cutting tool at the flank wear and the cutting crater wear. So what is the flank wear and the crater wear? Contact of the workpiece to the flank surfaces, the rubbing effect occur on the flank due to the machine surfaces. Wear occurs on the flank, that is called the flank wear. After the chip will be produced, slides on the rake surfaces, whatever the wear takes place on the rake surfaces, that is called the crater wear. So that is what two major wears, one is the flank wear and the crater wear. So flank wear occurs due to the rubbing of the machine surfaces with the flank, and crater wear is due to the rubbing of the chip on the rake surfaces, that is called the crater wear. So if I am saying the tool performance, according to the ISO standard, the tool performance depends upon the tool life, and the tool life depends upon the tool wear. So here, according to the ISO standard, it will be said that when the flank wear is up to the 0.3 mm, so flank wear is up to the 0.3 mm, that is called the VB. So you can say the 0.3 mm is the end of the tool life. That means if the tool life is exceed, or the tool wear, that is VB, is exceed the 0.3 mm, you can say that you need to change the cutting tool, that is new cutting tool to be used. so that you can say the life of the cutting tool you can judge up to the frank wear when it is subject to a 0.3 mm according to the ISO 367. So here is that this is the one criteria to judge the tool performance according to the tool life, and the tool life is judging the tool wear by the criterion of the what VB up to 0.3 mm. It is recommended to use the cutting tool. Another way to judge the life of the cutting tool, if the surface finish is exceed 1.6 micron according to ISO 367. So it will be saying that if the surface finish is exceed the 1.6 micron, then you can say whether the tool life is below 0.3 mm. We cannot use the cutting tool because the surface finish is already worse. So that's why you need to change your cutting tool whether the tool wear is below 0.3 mm. So these are the what. So this one is the one criteria to judge the tool performance by either considering the tool wear or either considering the surface finish, that is below 1.6 micron, or either it will be below 0.3 mm in the tool wear. So nowadays lots of tool materials are there. So just giving an in the development of the cutting tool started from the high carbon steel, then after that high speed steel, carbide, ceramic, cubic boron nitride and diamond tools. So if I'm saying here now, just very important aspect to that, how to choose the cutting tool, because I have told you for the hard turning 3 basic tools are used: carbide, ceramic and CBN. So other tools are there, but these tools are very effective. So you can say, if I'm saying about 3 tools, which one is the best, it is very difficult to say. So for machining, for particular machining, how to judge that which tool is among 3, which one is best? So how I can select? Just giving and briefing your the selection of the cutting tool. So generally what happened, carbide tool, the material already have told you, the material have a particular characteristics that is called the hot hardness, wear resistance, toughness, low coefficient of friction, and these are the properties. So if I am saying hot hardness, what is hot hardness? That is during the because the material is workpiece material is very hard, when the during the interaction of the tool and the workpieces, due to the high rise of the temperature, the thermal stability, or you can say that the thermal softening will be takes place on the tool tip. So due to the thermal softening, so the hardness of the tool tip reduces. At that time, the tool wear will suddenly increase. So that is objective to say that if the material have a high hot hardness, so it can retain its hardness at any temperature. So that is called the high hot hardness. Similarly, wear resistance. If your material, workpiece material is very hard, they have a capable to what? Carry the wear resistance more. So likewise, similarly, if I'm saying about the toughness, it is opposed. Opposed means what? So if material is very hard and very wear resistance, when that cutting tool is used for the machining and suddenly interact with the workpieces, because of the material is very hard, sudden impact of the tip will be chances to the blunt or maybe start to break. So that is what it is. Another characteristic called the toughness. So toughness here it is less because of the lower toughness and higher hardness. The material cannot sustain the load. So that's the objective to say, whenever you considering the particular cutting tool material, we should have to consider the 3 basic parameter of the properties: hardness, toughness and the wear resistance. So among 3, if I'm saying carbide, ceramic and cubic boron nitride. So what is the cubic boron nitride? Just giving introduction to that. Cubic boron nitride is the structure of the material which is nearly same to the hardness of you can say diamond, near to the diamond. That means you can say that it is the equivalent properties like diamond. So diamond, you know that it is the hardest material in the world. Similarly, if I'm saying about if your material is like a diamond structure, they have a high hardness, but the toughness is very less because of why? High brittleness is there. So when that tool or that CBN material having high hardness is used as a cutting tool, and when it start to contact to the workpiece, suddenly at that time the tool strip will be suddenly break because of due to the high hardness. So that is hardness is more, toughness is less. So that's why it is the another. But if I'm saying about the carbide tool, carbide is lesser hard than the CBN, but more tougher than the carbide. No, sorry, more tougher than the CBN tool. So if I'm saying about that, carbide tool is capable to absorb the shock load during the machining, but cannot sustain the hardness, that is wear resistance or hot hardness, because of due to the less hardness. So here, if I'm saying here to select the cutting tool, carbide and CBN is less toughness, more harder and wear resistance. Carbide, you can say less hardness and less wear resistance, but the toughness is very high. So if you consider these three, you can consider that ceramic is that which is reasonable hard, reasonable toughness, and reasonable what? Wear resistance. So you can say among three, ceramic is the best tool if I'm saying about all these characteristics. So this is the one way to select the cutting tool. That means if I want for the finishing, you would definitely you go to the CBN tool. But if you go to the suddenly huge volume of the material to be removed, you directly go to the ceramic tool. Okay, so this is the way in which we can go for the select for the different cutting tool materials for the machining of the hardened steel. So now we'll be go to that the how if the material is very different, like soft, hard, and difficult. Soft, hard, and difficult. Again, I am using the three different terms: soft, hard, and difficult. So what is that? Soft means what? The material which have a hardness less. Hard means the material which is more than 45 HRC, and difficult means the material which is already hard and other properties, other improved properties there. That is, we give an example to hard. Difficult means like the material is super alloys, titanium alloys, Inconel, Hest alloy. These are the difficult to cut material. Hardened material means hardened steel. So soft material means you can say that aluminum, copper. These are the things. So here the objective to say when these three materials is subject to machining, how the chip will be formed or how the machining will be takes place. So in my first one, this is the example of a soft material. Are you? This video is visible to all?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yes. See, in this cases, what happened? This is the simulation. This is the virtual machining diagram in which you can see because the material is less hard. That is, it is a soft material. So after the chip form, particular after some instant, what happened? Some of the chip are getting stick to the cutting chip and a new cutting edge, that is built up edge, and the built up edge gradually forming new shape predominantly, which instead of the cutting tip is acting as a cutting edge, the built up is act as a cutting edge. See, so here objective to say when the material is very hard, but material is very soft, that is hardness is very less, they have a ability to make a built up edge formation, which is affect your surface finish and life of the cutting tool. So in these cases, built up edge have a negative impact to the surface finish. See, what the actual machining required, it cannot be possible through by built up edge formation. Okay, so this one is the one type of machining, nature of machining when the machining is performed in a hardened steel, soft material. Next, you go to that hardened steel material. This is the hardened steel material. That is the hardened material. See, what happened after the when the tool start to cut the chip form, instead of the chip are become continuous, it make a segmented type with a layered. So that layered is called the segmented type, and instead of it will be the chip material is sticking to the cutting, there is no adhesiveness, that is edge formation are not there. The chips are segmented and curl down, so that the crater area is very less. Because of why? Because the material is very hard, so the segmented chips are chances is more due to the heavy plastic or high plastic deformation or shear deformation in the shear plane, so that the chances of the plastic deformation due to which the segmented chip will form and the chip calls. Another type, this one is the okay. So this is the one example of hardened steel material. Next we go to the another difficult to cut. See, it is very interesting to see what happened. In this cases, you can see here, because the very material is already hard, which is more than the hardness, more than the hardened steel material, and because of due to the specific critical characteristics, so this material is producing huge volume of the red temperature, that is red zone temperature are the plastic deformation zone at the shear plane, so that the chip segmented is very more predominant, making a formation of sawtooth chip formation. Almost, although there is a sawtooth chip formation is shown in the hardened steel material, but in this case of a difficult to cut material, the shape of the sawtooth chip formation is very predominant as compared to the hardened steel material, because of the high plastic deformation occur on the shear plane, because the material characteristics is very top, improved material characteristics. So objective to say that during the machining, the chip is formed, different types of chip will be formed according to the nature of the cutting tool, according to the nature of the workpiece material. So now come to my today's discussion is that another parameter, that is the which is the hard turning, is particularly very highly depends after the cutting parameters, speed, feed, depth of cut. Another parameter is the most important parameter. So before to discuss that, you already have told you during the machining, because the workpiece is very hard, when the cutting tool is subject to a very harassing environment. So the environment, because of why? Because there is a huge volume of the heat generation is there because of high cutting temperature, and vibration is more. So that's why the tool is subject to very high tool wear. So that's why the control of this is most important, that temperature as well as the vibration. So if I'm saying about if I'm control the temperature, then the vibration will be automatically controlled during the machining. So generally during the hard turning or hard machining processes, most of the heat will be transferred to the chip, and the rest of the heat will be transferred to the workpiece and the tool. So if I am control the chip, if I control the temperature or heat during the machining processes, then the tool life will be improved, so that because of due to the lesser tool wear. So during the machining to control the temperature, or during the machining to control the heat generation, there is a number of cooling lubrication techniques are used, which is not only reduce the friction, not also use what also use for the what machining for the also what you can say, it also reduce the temperature during the machining. So it is act as a coolant and also act as a what lubricant. So that you can say that nowadays the different cooling lubrication techniques are used, which is improve the what thermophysical property, or you can say that tribological property, improve the tribological property of the liquid medium, so that the cutting tool life is improved because of the tool because of the control of the heat generation. So here there is a number of cooling lubrication methods are used one by one. Just dry turning, flooded, that is called the wet cooling. Next cryogenic cooling, high pressure cooling, nanofluid cooling, near dry machining. So these are the what different types of new generation coolings are there. So if I'm saying about the new generation cooling, so nanofluid, high pressure cooling, cryogenic, near dry cooling, near dry, that is MQL, minimum quantity lubricants, are the new generation cooling. So in the next slide, I'll be show you all these things. So before to show all these things, first I just giving a brief of the all cooling lubrication techniques individually. Just looking that first dry turning is that coolant. There is no coolant. That is simply the interaction of the workpiece and tool with cutting environment. That is dry cutting environment. So there is no cutting fluid is there. Wet and flooded cooling means what? there is a the tool interact to the workpiece through by consuming huge volume of the coolant. The coolant may be a any liquid medium, that is water or any water miscible coolant, or you can say that vegetable oils or any biodegradable coolant you can use. But here objective say that in this case of the wet and clouded coolant is that the consumption rate of the cooling medium is very high. So that's why it is not feasible, or it is not applicable to the machining of hardened steel material, because of why it is not sustainable for the, because it have a high environmental impact. So that's why flooded cooling is capable to control the temperature, but in sustainable point of view it is not good. But nowadays there is a other new generation cooling techniques are there, which is used for the what nanofluid, which is used for the machining of the hardened steel material, which almostly use a very low volume or low volume of the cutting fluids, which is very sustainable as well as the what efficient for cooling as well as the lubrication properties for improve the tool life. So that is called the what one by one. This is the interesting to see that all those are the diagrams, sorry, videos. One by one, I just to show that diagrams, sorry, videos are there. How the different cooling lubrication techniques are used for the machining of the hardened steel, whether it is the machining of grinding, machining of drilling, machining of milling or turning. So the first one. So this one is the what a machining of dry machining. Here there is no cutting fluid is there, only we are performing a operations. The cutting tool is directly contact to the workpiece. There is no cooling medium. So objective to see here, objective to say here that because of the material, there is no cooling medium, so that's why high heat is there and material is very hard. So unusual or unusual sounds can be observed, can be here from the machining, because of due to the what the material is hard and making a vibration, so that the temperature is very high. So that's why you can say the sounds are very predominant as well as the temperature is very high. Okay, so that you are getting that from the dry machining, although it is sustainable, you can say it is sustainable because there is no cutting fluid is there, but they have a what in technological point of view it is not efficient for the machining, because of why the noise level is or sound intensity is very high because of due to the vibration, and there is no control of temperature. So that this is the way you can define the sustainable in the dry machining. Next, you go to the another type of machining cooling methods. So here it is that it is called the flooded or wet machining. So already I have told you here there is you are using a particular liquid medium, but the consumption of the liquid medium is very high. So which is unnecessary. That is unusual or unnecessary consumption of the cutting fluid is there in the flooded or wet machining, which is not actually required for the machining. Actual machining, which is not exactly required for the machining. So that's why the objective to say here the machining, the control of temperature is somewhat it is efficient, but it is not sustainable point of it is not sustainable because it is has a negative environmental impact, because the consumption rate of the cutting fluid is very high, and it have also some negative negative societal impact, because of why there is a term will become which is related to the operator safety and health issue. Because if you are using a hazardous cutting fluid, then at that time the operator which is working on that environment, there is some negative impact will be created on the issues related to operator safety and health. So that's why you cannot say that flooded machining is sustainable in point of view, control the technological point of view. It is feasible to control the temperature and vibration, but it is not sustainable in point of view environmental as well as the societal. Okay, so this one is the another type of cutting tool that is, that I have discussed with you, flooded or wet machining. Next we go to the another type of machining that is called the high pressure cooling. So what is that high pressure cooling? Just that here still there is a consumption rate is high, but it is the consumption rate of the coolant is less than the flooded, but the still the consumption rate is very high in point of view of sustainable point of view. So what happened in this high pressure coolant? Instead of it will be here in the what happened in the flooded, the nozzle is directed to the cutting zone, that is the tool tip and the workpieces. It is simply fall over the cutting zone to reduce the cutting temperature or to control the heat generation. Simple thing. But in this case of the high pressure coolant, the whatever the nozzle is used, the nozzle is supplied the cutting fluid with a high jet. Due to the high jet, it is impinged on the surface of the workpiece, heated surface of the workpiece, so that due to the impingement of the coolant medium to with a high impingement, suddenly rise of the temperature, the suddenly drops of the temperature, so that the heat generation is controlled. So this is the what? This is the video in which we can see. So here another advantages of the HPC is that suppose when the shape of the part is very complex or intricate, at that time if you use the flooded cooling system or wet cooling system, the wet cooling system is not efficient to reach the coolant up to the cutting zone. But if I use the HPC as high pressure cooling is used, so that's why it is the jet is very high, high cutting jet. So that's why the kinetic energy of the coolant is very high, so that it will easily interact to the cutting zone very in a deeper manner, so that due to the high impingement of the jet, the cooling that is the heat generation will be controlled, and the temperature will be suddenly dropped, so that it will be easily efficient for the machining. But still there is the consumption rate of the fluid, cutting fluid is also high. Okay, so now another will be go nowadays, which one is the most emerging technology or new cooling lubrication methods. Just giving an you. So all of you, I think you know about what is MQL. You can say that minimum MQL is called the near dry machining or near dry lubrication machining, or you can say that minimum quantity lubrication machining. It is a techniques of cooling and lubrication technique which use the coolant of minimum almostly zero or almostly no coolant. So I am not saying about the zero coolant, it is almostly no coolant. So almostly no coolant means what? What happened in these cases? You are just using the coolant which is an mist form, that is a nano mist form, and it is spread over the cutting zone. So when the nano mist is spread over the cutting zone, it suddenly cools the cutting media, that is the cutting machining area, machining zone. After that, it will be suddenly cools the machining area. Due to the rise, due to the temperature, the cooling medium will be suddenly evaporate. So that means you can say the cools the cutting fluid spread over the cutting zone, cools the cutting area, that is extract the heat and evaporate. So that means the consumption is that is the wastage of the cutting fluid is zero, but consumption is very almostly no. So here, just thinking about that, the minimum quantity lubrication is just like whenever you are using the perfume. So when you use the bottom, press the button of the perfume, it spread a nano mist particle. That technology is same applicable to the minimum quantity lubrication. So here is the object. So here is the video. See, very fine, thin, very fine mist particles, that is in terms of a nano mist particles, cooling media, and it is flowed into the cutting zone. See, this is the one other type of supply the nano mist particle to the cutting tip, and when it is interact to the workpiece surfaces, hot surfaces, it cools the cutting zone, and due to the temperature interaction with the nanomist particle and evaporate suddenly. So that is why you can say it is more sustainable, because of why almostly zero, almost no cutting fluid is there, and no wastage of the cutting fluid is there, and huge volume of the control of the temperature is there. So the life of the cutting tool will be improved in these cases, and the machining performance or machining efficiency will be improved definitely. So nowadays this coolant is very used because of the cost of, although the cost of setup is initial cost of setup is very high, but the cost of manufacturing or the cost of machining is very less, because of why? Efficient cooling and lubrication techniques. So this one is the another type of cooling and lubrication techniques in the machining. So now we'll go to the another type. Although this is very efficient to control the temperature and cutting processes and tool wear, but it is very negative environment effect. So that side is, you cannot say it is a it is a new generation cooling technique, but it is not sustainable from environmental point of view and economical point of view. So what is that? That is called the cryogenic machining. See. So just giving a, before I go to the video, so what is the cryogenic machining? Cryogenic machining is that they are using a cryogenic medium, liquid medium, cryogenic cooling medium. So that is it is a usually cryogenic liquid medium, that is called the liquid nitrogen and carbon dioxide as a liquid medium, in which when the liquid cryogenic lubricant is supplied into the cutting zone, it shielded the cutting zone by cooling. By cooling means you can see that it chilled the tool as well as the workpiece too, and due to the chilling effect of the workpiece and the tool, the whatever the cutting temperature is there, it is further shielded by the liquid nitrogen, that is the cryogenic cooling medium, so that the temperature is almostly very less, or you can say that the control of the temperature is very efficient as compared to the other cooling method. But the most important factor is that liquid nitrogen and the cryogenic coolant are very hazardous to the extensively hazardous, that is extremely hazardous to the environment. So nowadays this cooling system is extensively cooling systems have a limited application. So because of why? Because they have a heavy issues related to operator safety and operator health too, and huge negative impact to the environment. So that's why it is only it have some limited application, but the efficient level of the cooling purpose is very very high in comparison to the other cooling methods. So here the white color are the cryogenic media, liquid medium, that is almost it is called as a liquid and nitrogen, which is just like a snow form. And the snow form, it is shielded the workpiece and tool to make the workpiece and tool surfaces shield. And further the further supply of the cooling medium, cryogenic medium, it will be cooling the cutting zone during the machining, so that the control of the temperature will be very efficient. Okay, so this one is these are the 5 different cooling new generation cooling lubrication techniques. If I'm saying about the new generation, HPC, MQL, and cryogenic, another I just left. In the next slide, I will show you, that is called the nano fluid machining. Okay, so here the nano fluid machining is that which is equivalent to MQL, but in this case, what happened? In the MQL, we are using the cutting fluid, which is just like a liquid medium, only a cutting fluid. Either it will be water or any particular liquid medium. You can use the oil, or you can use the biodegradable oil, or you can use the water miscible oil, or water miscible coolant, or you can use the simply water as a coolant. But here in the nano fluid, what happened? You are using a solid lubricant, which the solid lubricant size, that is called the solid lubricant you use in a powder form, and the powder size is in a nano size. You can call as a nano material, and which is in a powder form of a nano size, and these nano powders are miscible to the coolant. So when you use this coolant for the machining, it act as a nano fluid. That means the nano particles, that is the solid lubricant in a nano size, miscible to the coolant, ordinary coolant, then that coolant is called as a nano fluid. So when the nano fluid is applied to the machining, or to during the machining, so what will happen? Because the nanoparticles are in a very fine thin particles, small particles, these are act as a ball bearing effect. That is, it makes a ball rolling effect. So instead of your workpiece and tool is making a plowing on the machine surfaces, the tool will be just rolled over the surface of the workpiece. So plowing action is avoided, and by the what? The ball bearing effect, that is rolling effect, is created. So the rolling effect is possible due to the what? The nanoparticles. So these nanoparticles are is very used to what? Reducing the force, that is making a cushioning effect and ball bearing effect, for which the plowing action of the tool on the workpiece surfaces is reduces. So the surface finish is very good in comparison to the other cooling. Next, so this is where the tribological property, that is, it is act as a rolling or ball bearing effect. Another effect is that whatever the liquid is used in, or whatever the particles are mixed to the liquid is used as a cooling medium. That means the liquid is act as a cooling, and as well as the particles is act as a ball bearing, that is tribological effect, properties. So that is the cutting fluid, which is nano fluid, both it act as a cooling medium as well as the what? The cushioning effect, for which the tool life here is improved as compared to the other cooling lubrication, because other cooling lubrication properties are not focusing about the what? The tribological effect, thermophysical property of the cutting fluid. But here in the nano fluid, they are focusing about the tribological property in along with the cooling lubrication properties. So that's why the nano fluid is another new generation techniques, which is nowadays is very emerging technology of cooling lubrication for machining of hardened steel and the difficult to cut material. So this is all about your cooling lubrication techniques about that. So here I am giving an example to just see diagram is that how this diagram will be show how nano fluid can be prepared. You are using a particular cutting fluid. Suppose here I am using a green coolant, and the powder black color is the powder nanoparticles. I mixed it into a particular vessel, then proper mixing it. Then I am using a system, that is to delivery system, that is minimum quantity lubrication, or you can use the flooded system, or you can use the HPG system to deliver this. So when this one is delivered through by a particular delivery system, it's spread onto the cutting zone, making a ball bearing as well as the cushioning effect in the lower diagram I have shown you. So here the black color inside the dots are the nanoparticles, and the nanoparticles are surrounded over the nanoparticles is surrounded by the green coolant. So here this is the way in which it is act as a coolant as well as the ball bearing effect to making the tool life more better. So coming to that, now I am going to conclusion. Now I am going to the conclusion in terms of sustainable. If I am considering the all new generation cooling lubrication techniques. So here I am giving, I am assess a sustainable, which cooling is more sustainable, whether dry, compressed, or flooded, or MQL. So to make a sustainable assessment, I have considered number of parameters, sustainable factors. So here I have considered the sustainable factors: environmental effect, worker safety, coolant cost, surface roughness, cutting temperature, part cleaning, coolant recycle, noise, everything. So after considering all factors, then I get a total score. The score which is getting highest is, you can say, that coolant is the more sustainable than the other coolant. So here you see the blue color is the MQL, which is score the highest score in comparison to the other, because of why it have a more sustainable factors on the, by considering the all sustainable factors. So that's why MQL is more sustainable than the other coolants like dry cooling lubrication system like dry, compressed, and flooded. Why? Because this parameter, because of due to this parameter. Suppose I am giving an one parameter to judge how you can judge the sustainable factor. Suppose I am saying environmental impact. Dry have a environmental impact, because of why there is no cutting fluid is there. So that's why you can say dry is dry. But when I am going to the flooded, it is consume a huge volume. So that's why it has a high negative impact to the environment. So that's why it cannot be sustainable. But whenever I am going to the MQL, the coolant is there, but the coolant is almostly no use. That is, it is after use it is evaporate. So consumption rate is low. So that's why you can say that all the process are using for the same purpose, but they are not show the same environmental impact. Okay, so this is the one way to show the environmental point of view, whether the sustainable or not. Next we go to the what, so in order to just going to my previous slides. So as earlier I have discussed you, there is a number of parameters are there in the hard turning processes like work material, chucking, the insert geometry, insert materials, operation, machine tool, all these things, and tool materials, tool geometry. These are the parameters. So huge parameters are which affect, which controls, so which depends upon the hard turning processes. It is very difficult to control that thing, because that already have told you. Considering all parameters to judge the machinability is very difficult. So likewise, same thing, considering the all factors to consider to judge the hard turning is very difficult. That's why that's why lots of modeling and optimization techniques is frequently used to control these factors. So if I'm saying about the optimization processes, number of modeling, number of statistical based and computational based approaches are used. So like if I'm saying about the statistical based Taguchi, Gray regression analysis, principal component analysis, Dutch desirability function approach, these are the some statistical methods in which they are control the all the parameters what I have earlier discussed about these things. These parameters are controlled, so can be controlled by using these statistical based methods can be controlled. And if you want to use other methods like computational, like GA, genetic algorithm, PSO, particle sum application, or TLBO. So these are the other computational approach which is they have a high computational efficiency to control the parameters in during the machining. So you can use it by using the different optimization techniques. Similarly, there is a number of modeling techniques are there, like statistical based and numerical based. Like suppose I am saying statistical based means regression analysis, multiple regression analysis, or response surface methodology, which is used for to what predict the different responses or different machining performance during the hard turning processes. Similarly, another modeling methods you can use attributional and neural network, or fuzzy based you can use for to control the various machining responses during the machining methods. So these are the different modeling and optimization techniques are used hard turning processes to control the parameters, different parameters in the hard in the machining responses. So based upon this one, so these are my some recent publications are there in which I have used various modeling and optimization techniques as well as various cooling and lubrication techniques to judge and to improve the machinability of the different hardened steel material, or to improve the machining performance. So I need not to go to the all the details of the publications. So these are the some of the publications which show the experimental layout diagram or schematic layout diagram of the execution of the research work. These are the recent publication in 2009, 19 and 20. I am showing only the publication related to different cooling and lubrication techniques which are recently used and published. So thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes.
Next, I would like to convey the student to ask
Yes,
any
sir.
doubt if you have raised your questions.
Yes, yes, definitely. The questions are most welcome.
You may ask the question, or you can write in the chat box.
Please be freely that if you have any query, also you can contact through by mail also.
Yes. Sir, one request is that you may share your slide with us. So
Okay,
that,
sir. Okay, sir. Definitely, sir. Yesterday I have shared you in your WhatsApp, so you may also share same thing to the.
thank you, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Seems that no one has any queries regarding your presentation, sir. It was so informative and knowledgeable to us. So,
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So then I'd like to invite the Mr. Saurabh, Dr. Saurabh Sinha, sir,
Yes.
for the vote of thanks.
So thank you, Ganesh sir and Dr. Saurabh Sinha, giving this opportunity to share my knowledge in this occasion. So I hope in the near future some other in collaborative work will be expected from you in this regard.
Definitely, sir.
So good afternoon to everyone, to every participants, my students. Seems that you have understood everything. There was no queries at all, no raising of hands in between. It's a very good thing for Sudhanshu sir. Sudhanshu sir, I have known him for several years. He has many publications to his name in various reputed journals. Thank you, sir, for giving your time to our college, to our students. Thank you to TechCube 3, which made it possible so that you are here on this platform. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you to all. So can I leave now, sir?
Yeah, sure, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Yes, you may leave.